Take a look at how you can set up a Kanban or Kanban flow in ZStream. So first of all, we're going to pull together a bunch of tasks that are valuable following Kanban methodology, and we're going to put them on a board where we can visualize the status of them and pull more tasks into those boards as needed. So for example, here I see 3 boards: a board for working on back-end tasks, a board for working on front-end tasks, and a board for working on marketing tasks. So we're going to take some high-value tasks, add them to our boards, and then we're going to work through those tasks, work them through our workflow, QA, whatever they need. Finally, we can actually create a release and kind of pull all the tasks that are already finished and ready to go into that release very easily, clear them off our boards, and be ready to pull in more tasks and release those as we're ready. This allows you to make decisions on what to include in a release relatively late, rather than having a sprint where everything is planned out at the beginning and you're intending to have this set grouping of tasks or functionality included in a release. So at this point, we've pulled them tasks into a release. They're done. They're still visible on boards because this release is unlocked. But now all we have to do is lock this release. The tasks will be hidden from their boards, and we have ourselves a nice archived release that we can go back and look at whenever we need to. So let's take a look at setting this up in ZStream. I'm just going to use 2 boards. You could use 1 board or 3 boards or 5 boards, depending on how you want to split up your work and depending on how many team members you have. So here we are in ZStream. We have a bunch of tasks. And currently we have no boards and no releases. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create a board. I'm going to call this the backend board, like in the diagram. Give it the default full workflow. These are just all the statuses in my project. And I'll create that. And let's create a front-end board, same workflow. Great, now we have our boards ready to go. They're empty at the moment. So if I go to front-end board, I see none. I need to either create some tasks or add tasks. And I see all these metrics are empty. So I'm going to go to our tasks. And let's say I want to look at our front-end developers, which let's say are these 2 users. I can filter by them. I can look at my priority. This is mostly dummy data for demonstration purposes, so there's not actually a lot to see here. We can make this a little more interesting and change some of these priorities and redo our sort so we can actually see, hey, what should we be pulling into these boards? So here we go. These are our highest priority tasks at the moment for our front-end developers. So let's take a bunch of them. We can also Command or Control click the first one. And then if we want to quickly select a bunch, we can hold Shift and select the last one. We're going to go to this Move To icon, and we're going to move, right now you can see they're in the backlog under board. A task can either be in the backlog or in a board, independent, by the way, of whether or not it's in a release. And we're going to move these to the front-end board. It's not too many tasks, just 5 for demonstration purposes, but I'll do this across multiple boards. So now let's just say everyone else is working on back-end tasks. They're all assigned to me, but that's okay. Doesn't really matter. And we can select a few of these. Again, this is sorted by priority, but the values are all the same, so it doesn't mean much in this case, but you're going to want to sort these by priority or by, for example, a custom field. Pull out everything that's immediately valuable that you want to be worked on immediately. We're going to send these to our backend board. Great, now we see they're updated here. We can still see them in the All Tasks tab, but we do see what boards they're on, for example. All right, so now we'll go to our front end board, and we're going to simulate the fact that most of these tasks have been worked through. And we're actually going to drag these 4 to done. And we're also going to drag this one here. It's not finished for whatever reason. Maybe it got stuck in QA. Maybe there were issues with it, or it wasn't even started. In which case, who knows, could be back here. Doesn't really matter at this point. What we have is 4 tasks that are done, 1 task that's not done. And we want to throw these tasks in a release along with the tasks that are done from our other board, or could be multiple other boards. So let's simulate. All right, our backend team has worked through these tasks. Again, it could be 100 instead of 4. This is just an easy way to show it off. All right, so these are done. Front end board is done. What we can do now is go and create a release. And since this is Kanban, we'll just call this a version 1.1. We'll associate it with our release planning practice project. And we don't actually need a date range in this case because it's not a sprint. We don't have a start and an end date. We're just going ahead and releasing this when it's ready. So here's a great update to our product. This is our newest version. We'll create this. And then we can go back to our boards. And we can take everything here, move it into this release, version 1.1. We can go to our other board, and we can do the same thing. I'm going to add these to this release. Again, I'm adding these to this release after I've already worked through them. So I know that I'm for sure including these 4 tasks, and I'm not including this task and maybe another few tasks that would be stuck in QA or that need fixes and they're not ready to go yet. There we go. Now this release is open, so I can still see those tasks on the board. And I see these are all done, which is great. That's the point. I've pulled off the tasks that are ready to go or have already been shipped into a new release, and I can now complete this release. So task in version 1.1, this release, will disappear from their boards when I complete this release, but I can reopen it to show them on the boards again. So in this case, there are no tasks like you might have with the sprint. There are no tasks that aren't finished. Otherwise, I wouldn't have added them to this release, at least in this Kanban flow. And I would have to move them somewhere else. But check out the sprint planning video for that. Great, so this release is completed. All that means is I see a status released here, and all those tasks are hidden from my boards. Which means I'm now free to pull in any other tasks on those boards that I may need. Something like this, whatever it is. And I'll throw these on my front end board. You can just hit enter for those confirmation pop-ups, by the way. Great, and now I'm ready to go and work through my next release. Once these tasks are done, I can create another release and I can add them to it, complete it, archive the tasks, and my boards are clear again. And I can do this across multiple boards and add these tasks for multiple boards or multiple teams to the same release so that I can keep track of this is done, this is completed, we're setting this aside. And that's how we set up a Kanban flow in ZStream. So we're pulling our tasks into some boards. We're going to do some work on them, complete some of them, hopefully a lot of them, and all of the ones that are completed and ready to ship or have been shipped, we can throw into this release, go in and lock it immediately because they're all done, and we'll have plenty of space to keep working on our next release in our board or multiple boards. Thanks for watching.